You guys in a tough spot, but what does it say about the team?
Well, it's just a nice way to end a really long road trip. Obviously, so to go home, second night of a back-to-back, another win in those situations. And to your point, we're down 4 with, I think, 44 seconds to go. Execute three-point play. We got stops, and that's what we needed. Obviously, the game, I don't think, should have been this close, but the defense was much improved. To hold that team to 104 points, I think 42 from the field and 33 from three, much better defensive numbers than we've had recently. And 29 assists, only 11 turnovers, very good number there. So, proud of our group. We're just staying with it. This is a tough time of the year, and now we have to go home and get ready to protect our home court against New Orleans.
What went into your decision to play Zeke Nnaji, and what do you think of his performance?
No, I thought Zeke was great. He was our defensive player of the game. He had 5 blocks. Bridges, Miles Bridges is a tough cover. Big, strong, physical, gets downhill. And I felt Aaron to start, and then Zeke off the bench just provided a real defensive spark. And what I have to say about Zeke is, I told him this morning, last night in Philly, the loudest guy on our bench, he was up the whole night, cheering his teammates on, encouraging guys, staying positive. And for a guy who has not played in a while, that really stood out to me, just about what being a teammate is really about. And when no Peyton and no Russell tonight, you got to find some other guys to step up. And Zeke took full advantage of that opportunity, and he deserves that. He's just a wonderful kid, and it shows that he stayed ready, both mentally and physically.
I was just going to ask about Christian Braun, too. You mentioned other players having to step up and the efficiency that he's playing with.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't too long ago you were saying, stay off of social media, don't listen to it, you'll get out of the slump just fine. How can you say about the way that he's responded?
Oh, he's responded in a big way, and it was funny. I made the decision going into the Knick game to take him out of the starting lineup, and here he is a few nights later playing 38 minutes. And to your point, 24 points, 11 rebounds. I felt that he was everywhere. He was attacking. He was shooting the 3-ball with confidence. He was guarding. I think tonight was a snapshot into all the different areas that CB can help you win in. And we need that from him. He's just such an intangible player for us and checks so many boxes. You know what you're going to get from Nikola every night. You know what you're going to get from Jamal, Michael Porter, who had 15 and 10. Didn't make as many threes as, he would want. And we got a ton of wide open shots, but, it's great to have CB stepping up and playing the way he's playing. And he's done that all season, to be quite honest.
You mentioned how this game probably shouldn't have been this close, but it was pretty tight. Just what can you say about Charles Lee's coaching job in year 1 with this young team, and kind of what type of impression it made on you so far?
Yeah, they're out so many guys right now. And so your job as a head coach and a leader of this team, it's never about who's available. It's about the guys that can play. Let's go out there and leave it all out there on the floor. And you can tell by watching that team play going into the game tonight as we prepared for them, and then watching them live and in person throughout this game, that his players have bought into his system. His players have bought into his leadership, and they're going out and competing every night. The results aren't there right now, but as I said pregame, before the wins have to come culture. It has to come an identity. And once you have that and you add players to that, then the wins will come. And so I think Charles is doing a hell of a job in his first season of just getting these guys to compete and play the right way.
9th day of this road trip, they say the toughest games on a road trip was that last one on the road and that first one back home. What do you do to make sure, as you just said, protect that home court, that you guys are ready to go on Monday?
Well, obviously, get on that plane tonight, get home, get some rest tomorrow. This time of the year, as you know, Scott, it's mental fatigue, physical fatigue, bumps and bruises. A lot of guys are feeling it. And so we just have to find a way to get some rest in these coming days as we prepare for New Orleans. And we played them twice, obviously, but we're going into a 3-4 in New Orleans, and Orlando, I believe. So we just got to fight through it. This team has shown all year long, as I mentioned, that winning on the second night of back-to-backs, really mentally tough and resilient group. And tonight's win was great because you had some guy. Jalen Pickett played rotation minutes. Zeke Nnaji played rotation minutes, and they went out there and did their job, and they played well for us. So, We just got to, go home. And that's one thing I challenged our guys, I think, before the Sacramento game. 2 years ago, we had 7 home losses all year. Last year, we had 8 home losses we have 8 home losses already. So we have to find a way to make Ball Arena a tough place to play again, because it has not been the case this year.
Sorry if you got asked about Zeke already, but what stood out to you about him at the defensive end tonight?
Yeah, we already talked about that. Zeke was our defensive player of the game. To your point, Bennett, he 5 blocks, obviously his activity, and I just thought that his defensive presence and not just guarding Miles Bridges, but we're switching a lot with that lineup. I think he was sitting down and guarding a lot of different players. His activity, his aggression. He goes 3 or 4. Him and Aaron have some nice interior passes to each other, finishing around the basket. But, you get 5 blocks and 22 minutes. That's a hell of a number. So really happy for Zeke taking advantage of the opportunity given to him.
And then that possession defensively down 1, it seemed like Bridges had kind of been going after the Jamal switch for a few possessions there. I imagine you don't want to end up giving up an open 3-point attempt to someone else, but is the goal ultimately just to get the ball out of his hands in that situation?
Yeah, and we were trying to avoid the switch, because Bridges is so big and strong. When he gets downhill, he's a load. So we were trying to keep Aaron matched up to him. And you saw late in the game, as we closed in that 7-0 run, Jamal was showing, and so we could keep Aaron matched up to him. And then obviously sometimes when you do put 2 on the ball, you're going to give something up, and you have to rely on some fly-around mentality behind that. But, Bridges in that 4th quarter, he just turned it on. And that team never quit. They kept on coming at us, and I'm just proud of our group for not panicking, being down 4 with 44 seconds to go, and closing on a 7-0 run. All right. Thanks, everybody.